Right, now it's the part of the show where we talk to politicians, newsmakers, media personalities and thought leaders. Now today is absolutely no different. We speak to actress and satirist Lesego Tlhabi, who goes by the name of Coconut Kells. Lesego, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Welcome to the show. Let's get straight into it. I mean, your videos, they cause us a lot of laughter, but they also cause a lot of people a lot of heartache. Tell us what inspires you to make these videos.
I'm surprised by the heartache, but what inspires me to make these videos is just what I observe in the world. It's usually got to do with race, politics, microaggressions, white privilege, but it's just things that I see in the world, things that I hear that inspire me to make videos.
Lesego, your persona is hilarious. You are essentially the ultimate cool girl, and that in its own was a really clever strategy. What made you think of calling yourself Coconut Kells and taking on that sort of persona?
So when I first started doing my videos, it was basically me taking comments that I saw on the internet around the issue of the Pretoria Girls High hair incident, and just taking white girls' comments from the school that I went to and kind of just saying it back at them, because I was always the person who would make long Facebook rants, addressing race, and people always used to tell me it was really aggressive, and that they'd listen more if I came in a different way. So for me, it was just like the easiest way for people to see themselves is to just hold a mirror up to them. And obviously I'm not white, so I'm not going to use a white girl persona. But there's so many people who went to the schools we went to who are black, who have the same sentiments as a lot of white people. So it was easy to take on the coconut persona, because my parents also thought when I was in school that I'd probably turn out to be exactly who Coconut Kells is. So it was easy to just use that to say, okay, here's the mirror. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to preach. I'm just going to say exactly what I see in the comment section, and hopefully it'll make you think a little bit.
Now, when I mentioned that you cause a few people heartaches as well, and it's where you make people think a little bit, especially white people. It goes down well when you speak about black people not being able to swim, for instance, but as soon as you touch on a topic that makes them look a little bit deeper into themselves, it becomes something that ends up invoking all sorts of emotions. Now, is that something that you've done deliberately so, or is it just a matter of, look, if the shoe fits, then wear it?
Well, even the swimming video wasn't about black people. It was, all my videos are from the perspective of what a white woman thinks, or what I think white women think, or what I see on social media. So even with the swimming video, it had to do with white perceptions on blackness. And every single video I've done has been the same theme. It's from the lens of white privilege. It's from the lens of whiteness. And so it's never changed. And so for me, people only getting offended now, it just means that they weren't really listening from the beginning. But from the very first video, it's always been the same topic. It's always been the same thing of dealing with microaggressions. So now when they say, okay, now your videos are racial, I'm just like, okay, either you weren't listening, or the fact that now I'm mixing in a bit of Lesego in the Kells videos and not just using the character. So maybe it's a bit more harsh or a bit more obvious. But yeah, my theme has been the same since the beginning.
Now, let's give you some insight as we take a look at the video, the DA's campaign managers for the 2021 elections, Coconut Kells, weighing in there. Let's take a look.
Oh, yes, the list is out. Okay, let me check. Okay. Oh, I guess Adam Katsavelis was right. Not a single.
That's hilarious, but you are raising something that has been at the forefront of, the DA's dynamics and the conversations we've been hearing about what's happening internally.
I think that's why I've gotten a lot of heat from DA councillors and such this week. But it's true. You can't have a list of a whole lot of campaign managers who are only white in a country just because you want to pretend you fall under the bubble of non-racialism. Non-racialism doesn't mean exclusion of black people. And the party, more and more throughout the years, has become more obviously outright or right and conservative. For me, it's been quite obvious from the beginning. And I think the character of Coconut Cows was also addressing some of the confusion I had with black people actually wanting to be part of a party like that, that kind of sticks to maybe pushing issues of white privilege. So it didn't really make sense to me. So I think the reason why I used this character too was, yes, to address the concerns around white privilege, to address the concerns around the DA being, using white leaders and black faces, and then also addressing the actual black faces.
Now, I mean, it's, always a bitter pill to swallow when you are forced to look at yourself. Has this, the Coconut Cows character forced or had any white people come to you and say, look, we see our white privilege, and thank you for highlighting it. Perhaps they didn't see it prior to that.
Yes, so there's two sort of lanes. There's people who, are awakened and they're like, oh, okay, I didn't realize this was what was happening, or this is how I sounded. Thank you so much for helping me see. But there's also a faction of people who think they're liberal, and they get quite shocked because they think racism is only the K word. A lot of white people think racism is only slurs, it's only the murders, whatever it is. They don't realize that we deal with something called microaggressions. When you say you speak really well, when you say, you're surprised by someone's intelligence or someone's eloquence, it's the same as, misogyny. You can have GBV or you can have someone call you sweetheart in a boardroom. And both are just as heavy in different ways. Maybe one might be well-meaning, but as a woman, you know the difference. So it's the same thing with race. Even though you're not using a slur, as a black person, I know when you do that smile in the shops, when you lock your car door when I'm walking past, it's not outward racism, but we see it. So I think most white people want to view themselves as non-racist, as more liberal. But when my videos pick up on the microaggressions that they might not have realized or were doing unconsciously, then they get attacked or they get defensive because in their eyes they were never racist. And some of these videos are saying, maybe you're not racist, but you need to check this behavior because it's definitely ignorant, it's definitely oppressive to black people, it's a microaggression. And so I think there's a lot of pushback from people who start to see themselves in the videos because they never realized they themselves were problematic. If you have black friends and you don't see color and everyone's pink or white or blue, then you don't want to identify as a racist. And if a video makes you feel that way or you see something and it makes you identify with it, of course you're going to have pushback. And that's what happened this last week.
Your videos are essentially educational, bringing in humor to raise, the spotlight to some really serious, hard-hitting topics. On that aspect has been covered and essentially opened up doors to some more exciting roles, like an actress now adding to your portfolio of work. Tell us about these exciting projects.
Well, I mean, first of all, people don't know that I studied acting 10 years ago as my degree. So people all think that, a lot of things are happening by mistake or from luck. But I mean, it's literally been 10 years of work in the making. And then because of Coconut Cows, the doors that I was trying to open before are now opening. But yeah, I'm on Ubetina Wetu, which is on SABC1 from Monday to Wednesday at 7:30. I was also on Trending SA recently. That's on a production break. And I'm also doing a lot of a little film work. I can't speak about it yet because they make us sign NDAs. But I'm definitely trying to focus more on acting, producing, but also sort of making my own projects because I don't want to, simply be talent. I am a writer. I am a director. So those are things that I want to start pushing from behind the scenes. And of course, I love writing, like I said. So there is a book that's itching here. People keep asking, and it's there. So I need to just focus and sit down and start writing.
You speaking of the fact that you also want to write and do your own projects, would there be, something similar to the theme that you currently have as Coconut Cows, projects that will essentially enlighten people and perhaps even deliver a bit of a shock value?
Yeah. Sometimes I don't go into things trying to shock. I literally just find comments that exist and then reenact them in a maybe more silly way. So the fact that they are shocking means that South Africans are shocking. But yeah, I always want to use art to educate. I think I grew up on satire, watching it all the time. That's the vehicle I've been using for the last few years. I do just regular comedy on the side or drama or other things, but my favorite thing is satire. So making people laugh and think that marriage is really important to me. And if I do other projects, I mean, now I'm going into a relationship with Escort. We're actually going season 2, but now we're trying to make it more of like, you know, a satirical show, talk show kind of thing, addressing the issues, and actually going for regular people in the interviews rather than fellow comedians. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely trying to still push that think and laugh umbrella. And I want all my work to kind of make sense to who I am. I don't want to do things just for the sake of doing things. Even in Ubeti Nawethu, my character is a fat advocate, body positivity. She doesn't just exist to exist. So, yeah, it seems like my work is also other people, when they cast me in things, seem to identify me in that umbrella.
Wow, fantastic. Brilliant chat. Thank you so much for your time. Actress Lesego Tlhabi, a.k.a. Coconut Kells. You know, using humor to really bring to the forefront some really serious topics, Buhle.
Absolutely, and she is so funny. She's hilarious. I often find myself scrolling her videos, and I suggest you do the same, especially if you need to look inwards a little bit. It will definitely get you to think.